In today's video, two teams of sanctioned monster hunters embark upon a dangerous mission in a forest filled with monstrous wolves and worse, as we play our first on-screen game of the Silver Bayonet. Well, hi folks, and welcome to the channel. I'm Lee, your old hammered host. I'm here with Lynn.
Hello.
And we're going to play some Silver Bayonet, the game of Napoleonic Gothic Horror, written by Joseph McCullough and published by Osprey Games. And we're actually going to play a solo game today, cooperatively. So this game is kind of designed to be played player versus player, but there are solo rules and solo scenarios. And within those, you can actually play a co-op game with two captains instead of just one. So what we're going to do today is we're going to have, instead of one leader, one officer with a 100-point team, Lynn's going to have an officer and 40 points of crew. I'm going to have an officer and 40 points of crew. And together, we will attempt to play the Wolf Pack, the first scenario in the solo section of the book. Now, we just played this earlier this afternoon. That was our practice session, and we squeaked out a narrow victory, a very narrow victory, but most of our crew was eaten by wolves.
That was very unfortunate.
So that was kind of unfortunate. So before we jump into gameplay, let me quickly introduce our two teams of monster hunters. So on my team, we have Captain Conager right here. You might recognize him from Innsmouth Gold, the Pulp Alley game we played a couple of weeks ago. And his first officer is Lucky Bill. And then here is Long Gun Pete. He is a rifleman. So Captain Conager has two pistols, a silver hand weapon, silver shot, oil and torches. He resists fatigue when fighting, and he's a supernatural veteran. Lucky Bill is nimble, so he ignores rough terrain. He has two pistols and a fencing weapon. And then Long Gun Pete has a rifle, a bayonet, and a cartridge box. And they're essentially helping out this team of Prussians here. And so what the deal is, the Prussians are in enemy territory. They're in no man's land, so they need to sneak in. So they have hired Captain Conager and his crew of scalawags. They are rogues, but they're reliable, and they have some experience with the supernatural. So these guys have helped the Prussians reach this territory, and now they're marching inland with them to try to defeat the forces of darkness and maybe scavenge some treasure at the same time. So Lynn, why don't you introduce us to your Prussians here?
My captain is Colonel Bierwagen. He is strong, indefatigable. He has a breastplate, volley gun, pistol, and silver hand weapon.
Yeah, the volley gun can hit multiple targets, but you can only discharge it once, and they have to be within 1 inch of a common point. And then this guy here?
That's Jonas Lang, and he is a veteran hunter, and his attributes are a supernatural veteran. He has two pistols, silver hand weapon, silver shot, and a holy symbol.
Right, and this little guy here?
That's Schultz. He's infantry. He has a musket and bayonet and a cartridge box.
So you may have noticed we don't have that many team members, so we opted to buy more expensive units instead of a bunch of cheap ones. So we could have gotten a bunch of little infantry guys, but instead the Prussians are fielding a master hunter here. And then Long Gun Pete is a rifleman, and Lucky Bill is a junior officer. So instead of a bunch of cheap units, we have more expensive units, with the exception of Schultz here, which means we don't have as many people on the board. And so last time that hurt us a little bit, because once they started disappearing under a flurry of wolf teeth, then we found ourselves with very few crew members left. But we will see how they can do today. We have the benefit of experience on our side now that we've played a game. So the mission here is that a couple of weeks ago, a special team of monster hunters and paranormal investigators was sent out into the woods to try to find a legendary lost chapel. And they had with them a sealed courier's bag with their top secret orders that are not supposed to fall into enemy hands. So our two teams here are on a mission to discover what happened to the first team, and then also retrieve those top secret orders, and if possible, continue on to try to find that lost chapel. However, this mission is complicated by the fact that the woods are literally teeming with hungry, ferocious dark wolves, gigantic wolves that have been corrupted by dark magic. And another thing that's going to happen here is at least one of these wolves is actually a werewolf. And werewolves are very damage resistant, so silver weapons will harm him. Regular weapons, he's got like 5 points of resistance against them. And he heals. So every turn he starts regenerating. So that werewolf, we thought we were going to kill him in the first or second round last game, but it didn't happen. And he just hung in there and started eating people and regenerating, and we never finished him off.
Nope.
So there's at least one werewolf on the board with the potential for more of them to show up if we have some unlucky die rolls on special events. So hopefully that won't happen, and we'll just face a horde of dark wolves instead. So you may have noticed there's a bunch of gold coins on the board. These represent various clue markers. And so when we investigate clues, one of them is going to be our objective, and the others are going to be things which might hurt us or help us during our mission. So we won't know until we investigate them. And while we're trying to do that, the wolves will be charging in from all sides, trying to eat us, and they'll be supported by at least one werewolf, maybe more, so we don't know. Okay, so our two cooperative teams of intrepid adventurers have been marching through the woods. They've been following the tracks of the team that preceded them, and then they found the old campsite and some bodies that apparently have been rended limb from limb. Then they start hearing the howling of wolves off in the distance, and they see these shiny eyes all around them, kind of racing toward them. So we start the game by deploying within 3 inches of the fire pit here, and then the first thing we need to do after that is see which one of these wolves is actually a werewolf. So Lynn, do you want to roll for that?
Number 7.
Number
so the
7.
gray wolf.
So this gray wolf here is actually a lycanthrope. So as he approaches the campfire, he shifts and becomes a werewolf, which is much tougher than the standard wolves. So all of these monsters will move according to some pretty simple rules. If they see a character within line of sight, they'll move toward it. If they don't see one, they'll move toward an objective token. And if they don't see an objective token, they'll move toward the nearest character, even if they're not in line of sight. So there are 8 wolves, 7 wolves actually on the table, and 1 werewolf. And every turn, at the end of every turn, we roll to see what else happens. And so we might get more wolves, we might get a werewolf, or we might get nothing. We don't know. So
Nothing would be good.
nothing would be fine in the situation. Oh yeah, and one mechanic that's going to come into play here is a pool of fate dice. So I have 2 fate dice, Lynn has 2 fate dice, and this is a power die and a skill die, red for power, black for skill. And we can use these over the course of the game. We can spend them on quick reload, on trying to reduce damage, or on doing a reroll. So you may see us use our fate dice at critical times to try to improve our odds. So we'll see if that helps. All right, so we start by rolling for some initiative, I guess. Okay, Lynn, what'd you get?
6.
You got a 6. I got a 12.
You have initiative.
So initiative basically determines which team is the prime team, the prime player. And so in this case, I'm going to be the prime player. So I'm going to move first. Then the monsters will move. Then Lynn will move her team. And then next turn we roll for initiative again. So it could be different or the same. We don't know. So Captain Conager here has a move of 6. That's not quite enough to get him to the objective, but he can get close. And he's within range to shoot that wolf with his pistol, so I think he will. So Conager has an accuracy of +1. He's moved, so that's going to negate that. So he's just going to shoot. He needs to get better than a 12 because that's the wolf's defense. He got a 14. His pistol works on power rather than skill. So he does 6 points of damage to that wolf. So the wolf has 8 health. He's down to 2. All right. Didn't kill it. That would have been good. And didn't achieve an objective, which would have been good too. But we do what we can. Okay, next we have Lucky Bill. Lucky Bill's going to move about 2 inches that way. And another 4 that way. Lucky Bill has a range of 8 with his pistol, but I don't think that's close enough to shoot a wolf. It is not. So he's going to try to sprint. He's going to sprint toward that objective. He rolled a 10 or less, so that means a 2-inch sprint. So he can investigate that thing next turn, but right now he doesn't know what it is. He just knows he's there, and there's 2 wolves on either side of him moving forward. And finally, I have my rifleman, Long Gun Pete, and he could try to shoot the werewolf, but he doesn't have silver bullets, and so it's not going to damage it very much, probably. So I think Long Gun Pete is going to shoot this wolf over there. This wolf is going to get cover. The cover rules are very simple in this game. You either have it or you don't. If any part of your leg or torso or head is covered by cover, then you have cover. And there is no hard cover, soft cover, long range, short range, wounded, stunned. You're either alive or you're dead. You're either in range or you're not. So it's really streamlined. So Long Gun Pete is shooting over here. He can see the hindquarters of that wolf. The wolf is in cover. Long Gun Pete hasn't moved. He has the accuracy of +2. So he needs to get an 11 or better to defeat the armor of the wolf. And he got a 6, so he didn't do it. So he shot. He's going to need to reload, and maybe that's what he'll do. He'll use his movement action to reload, which is allowed. So he fired, and now he's reloading his musket. So that is the crew of the Triton. They have all activated, and Captain Conacher did manage to put a hurt on this wolf. And Lucky Bill is over here pretty close to an objective, and Long Gun Pete missed his target entirely. Now we go to the monster phase. So as long as we're here, this wolf will close in on Captain Conacher. He moves 8. I think he can get in there. Yep. That wolf charges in. Another thing they don't have in this game is Overwatch or anything like that. So the wolf just charges in. So the wolf is biting with a +1. Conacher has a defense of 14. So the wolf needs a 13 or better. And he got a 16. So Conacher's going to take 6 points of damage because that's the power die. So he's down to 8. So he has the option of attacking back, which he will. Try to polish off that wolf. So he got a total of 18. So that's 10 points of damage from the power die against the wolf. And the wolf only has 2 points left. So he is dispatched. He took a big chunk out of Conacher's leg, but now he's dead. So that's 1 wolf down, 7 to go. This is marsh here, so the wolf is going to be slowed down going through that. So we'll have to see. Let's see, he can go about 5 and then another, say, 1.5 inches going through the marsh. So the wolf is slogging through the mud trying to get to Captain Conacher. This wolf here, let's see who's closest. I guess probably your hunter.
Yep, I would guess my hunter too.
Go about 2 that way and another 6. Moving toward the veteran hunter. This gray wolf here is going to move toward Schultz, and he's going to end up kind of on top of this objective. Here's yet another wolf who's closest, probably
Colonel Bierwagen.
Bierwagen. So he's going to go about 5 inches that way and another 3 that way. The werewolf has line of sight on Long Gun Pete here, so he's going to move 6 inches. He's not quite as fast as a regular wolf. So these other 2 wolves are probably going to move toward Lucky Bill because he is the closest.
But at least the marsh will slow him down.
The marsh will slow him down. So let's see, 3 there, and then another 2.5. So slogging through the marsh. This one here can move about 4. We'll slow him down 1 inch because he's at the edge of the marsh, and we'll let him proceed from there. So 4, 5, 6, and then he moves up to about there. So Lucky Bill bravely moved forward toward that clue, but at what cost? Now he might get eaten by wolves. Okay, Lynn, now it's your turn. So what is Colonel Bierwagen going to do?
He is going to shoot at the brown wolf.
That one right there?
Yes.
Okay.
He has an accuracy of +1.
All right.
So he needs 11 plus.
He hasn't moved. So the Colonel rolled a 10. He's got an accuracy of +1, so that takes it to 11. The wolf has a defense of 12, so he missed unless you want to use one of your fate pool to re-roll that 2.
I am going to do that.
Okay. And you got another 2.
Was not meant to be.
Was not meant to be. All right. Well, do you wish to reload?
I think I will reload.
Okay, so the Colonel reloads.
Schultz is going to shoot at the gray wolf.
Okay, so Schultz is standing his ground for the moment. He's going to unleash his musket on that gray wolf, that dark wolf there.
And he's got +1 accuracy.
Okay. And 13, 14. So you defeat the defense of the wolf. So that's 9 points. And that's enough to kill that wolf. So you wipe that wolf off the face of the earth.
Nice shooting, Schultz.
That's right. Good job, Schultz.
The Colonel could learn something from you.
Yeah, but probably not best to point that out.
Probably not.
The Colonel's a prideful man. Okay, and now your hunter here, your veteran hunter.
Jonas Lang is going to
Lang.
shoot at the brown wolf over here.
Okay. And Jonas has silver weapons, correct?
So he would be a good werewolf hunter.
He would be a good werewolf hunter. Let's hope, he's able to intercede before the werewolf tears through the regular guys with no silver weapons. But for now, Jonas is firing at this wolf.
And he has +2 accuracy.
+2 accuracy with his pistol. 9, 11. You need a 12, unless you want to re-roll that 2. Use your other fate pool die. It's kind of early in the game.
It's kind of early in the game.
Okay. So you missed. Are you going to reload or rush into combat?
Okay, we're going to rush in.
Okay, so Jonas rushes in. That's one thing you can do is you can shoot and then charge on the same turn. So he rushes into combat. What is his melee?
+2.
+2. Okay, roll away. 10 plus 2 is 12. That's enough to do it. You do 7 points of damage. So that almost kills the wolf, but not quite. The wolf will bite back with an 8, which is not enough to do anything.
So I go backwards?
Yeah, you back up 2 inches. So another thing you don't find in this game is locked-in combat. So no matter what happens at the end of melee, these guys are going to be separated one way or the other. But they both get a fatigue marker. So if they fight additional rounds this turn, they're going to be at a disadvantage. Okay, so that is all your guys. So that is the end of turn 1, correct?
Yep.
All right, that's the end of turn 1. Now we roll for a special event. And
7.
a 7.
I think it's a wolf.
7 is another wolf arrives. Place 1 dark wolf in the center of a random table edge. So 1. Okay. So another dark wolf shows up, runs in onto the board, and he'll be able to do something fun this turn, I'm sure. Now we roll for initiative. Turn 2, which of us will be the prime player? I got a 6, and you got a 4, so it's me again. So I'm going to start with Lucky Bill, who is right next to a clue marker. So in this game, a character gets 2 actions, basically a move action, and then an investigate action, or a shoot action, or a reload, or something like that. But they're pretty generous about letting you use move for other things. So you can use a move action to reload. You can also use it to investigate a clue. So he's going to use his move to investigate that clue.
It is a 9.
9 of spades.
Yep.
The missing orders. The investigating figure may pick them up without spending an action. If this figure is reduced to 0 health, it drops the orders where it falls. So yeah, just like last game, we found the orders right away, but it didn't really help us that much. It took us quite a lot of fighting to make it off the board, so we'll see what happens here. So Lucky Bill retrieved the missing orders, but now he needs to fight to try to escape. So he is going to shoot that wolf. So he rolled a 15, plus 1 accuracy is 16, so he defeated the wolf's defense. The wolf takes 6 points of damage, leaving it with 2, so it's almost dead, but not quite. If the wolf had a missile weapon, it could return fire, but it doesn't. So it just spits. So that's Lucky Bill. He's found the objective, but it may cost him his life. Okay, so Long Gun Pete is going to play the hero now. He's right here. He can see this dark wolf over here that's about to chomp on Lucky Bill. And so Long Gun Pete is going to shoot it. So he's a rifleman. Accuracy of plus 2. So let's see what happens here. And he gets a 17, a 19, so he defeats the armor of the wolf. He does 8 points of damage using the skill die because he's shooting a rifle, which is a skill weapon, and that is more than enough to kill that wolf. So 1 wolf is eliminated. So let's see. So Long Gun Pete has to decide whether he wants to reload or to move. I really don't want to be Werewolf Chow. Long Gun Pete doesn't have any silver weapons, so he's deciding to move away from the lycanthrope. So he's shot. He's moved this way, but his musket is depleted, so he's going to need to reload that at some point. Unless I use one of my dice for a quick reload. I can use one of my fate dice for that in a pinch. So here's Captain Conager. He has 2 pistols, so 1 is discharged already, so he's going to shoot the other one at that wolf there. So let's see, his accuracy is I think plus 1. He's a better brawler than he is a shooter. Let's see what happens. And he got
18.
18. So he got an 18, 19, and that 8 is enough to kill that wolf. So this wolf is slogging its way through the swamp, but he gets shot by Captain Conager, and then he kind of just sinks back down into the muck. So Captain Conager has shot both pistols. I think he's going to reload one. So that'll be his move action. And that would be all my people, I think, right?
Yep.
All 3. Now it's the monster phase. So we're going to start over here with this wolf, who is going to chow down on the master hunter here. But they're both fatigued because they already fought once this turn. So the wolf rushes in. The wolf is fatigued. The veteran hunter is fatigued. Wolf gets plus 1 bite. And what is your defense normally?
Defense normally is 14.
14, so now it's down to 13. So
he has to get a 13.
Yeah, just got to get a 13 straight up. And he got a 12.
Yay!
So he bit through that nice red cloak that Jonas is wearing, but didn't go for that ankle like he was hoping for.
So I'm going to fight back.
All right, Jonas is fighting back.
He normally has plus 2 in melee, So now he only has +1.
Right. But the wolf has a defense of 11 now. So let's go ahead and we got an 8, which is a miss. So then the wolf backs up 2 inches, and that's where we're at. That wolf is almost dead. It looks like Private Schultz is a little further away than Jonas Lang, so the gray wolf is going to move toward the veteran hunter. This wolf here is going to say hello to the colonel. So he rushes forward to say hi. And let's see, he bites with a +1. Your defense is what, 14?
Yep.
And he got an 11, a 12, not enough. Is the colonel going to strike back?
Yes.
Okay.
So melee is +2 for him.
Okay. And
Not enough.
Not enough, but he does drive the wolf back 2 inches. All right, Mr. Werewolf, he can see the colonel here. So he's going to move through the rough terrain. He is nimble, so he ignores the rough terrain effects. So he's just going to move his 6. So there's the werewolf right there, and he's getting ready to wreak havoc among the monster hunters. So here's the wolf by Lucky Bill. He's going to move about 7 inches to get out of the bog, and then another inch. So he's closing in. And is that all the monsters?
That, I believe, is all the monsters.
Okay. So we start the new turn by rolling for a special event. A 2. More wolves arrive. Place 2 dark wolves in a random table corner. So Lynn is hoping to get initiative here because there's 2 wolves very close to each other, and the colonel could unleash the volley gun on them if she gets initiative. So we'll have to see here. You got a 10. And I got an 18.
I guess you have initiative.
So let's see what we can do here.
I'm going to get gobbled up.
Well, maybe I can help you out.
That would be good.
Well, let's see. So Long Gun Pete has reloaded, so he can shoot a wolf. He's got a range of 30 with his rifle. So Long Gun Pete is going to use his rifle, which is a rare commodity in the Napoleonic era, and he's going to fire a bullet past the ear of the colonel into this wolf. So his accuracy is +2, and he got a 7. I could try rerolling the 1. I'm going to reroll 1 die out of my fate pool. I'm still going to need a 6 or better. I got a 9.
All right.
So yeah, that was worth it.
That was definitely worth it.
So I have 1 die left in my fate pool. So yeah, so that is a 13, 14. That's enough to hit the wolf. And that does 9 points because the rifle uses skill. So that is enough to kill the wolf. There you go.
Good shooting.
You'll have to send a 6-pack to Long Gun Pete when this is all over. Okay, so that is Long Gun Pete. He's done his thing. And I guess he will reload. So he's shot. He's going to reload. So that is his activation.
Okay.
Okay, so Captain Conager has fired once, but he still has 1 pistol in reserve. He'll try to take some of the heat off of the veteran hunter so the veteran hunter can go deal with the werewolf. So he'll move up 6. And let's see. So I'll try to shoot the wolf that's already wounded. Our odds are better that way. So his accuracy is +1.
And then he loses 1 because he moved.
He loses 1 because he moved, so just needs a 12 or better. And he does not get it. So he is currently out of pistol shots. So here we have Lucky Bill, and while all of his friends are fighting for their lives, he has found and retrieved the missing orders. And so he is going to sprint and try to get away. So we will start by moving him 6. And then he needs to roll a sprint roll and do well on it. So we need an 11 or better to get 4 inches of sprint. Otherwise, we'll get 2 inches. And we got 10. I'll use my other fate die. And reroll that 3. And I got a 1.
So he gets 2 inches.
He gets 2 inches there. The fickle finger of fate is not helpful. Now, am I out of 8-inch range from that wolf? Not really.
Mm-mm.
Okay, we just have to deal with it. So Lucky Bill is sprinting toward the table edge, but now it's the monster phase. Let's start with that wolf that's chasing him. So Long Gun Pete is closer as the crow flies, but there's a wall in the way. And Lucky Bill is a little bit further away, but it is a straight shot. So I think that's time for a die roll.
Okay.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is Long Gun Pete. Anything else is Lucky Bill.
1.
1, so it's going to charge over the wall. So the wolf has decided to go after Long Gun Pete. It has ascended the wall and is preparing to pounce on the poor little rifleman down there. So it looks like this wolf here can see Lucky Bill, and this other one can see Schultz. So they're going to move in that direction. So one wolf moves 8 that way, and another wolf goes that way, over the wall. There is a werewolf skulking around in the woods, so he is getting ready to charge the colonel. So he's going to move up and say hello to Bierwagen. Werewolf has an attack of +2. Bierwagen has a defense of 14. So the werewolf got a 13, 14, 15, which is enough to defeat the colonel's defenses. The werewolf gets a +1 on damage, but the colonel is wearing a metal breastplate, so he has some armor, so that's a wash. So it is 4 points of damage off the colonel.
Colonel will attack back.
Okay, colonel will fight back. So the colonel is fighting back, and he has a silver hand weapon, a silver sword, so that'll damage the werewolf.
So he's got +2, and the werewolf has a defense of 13.
All right, you got a 10, 11, 12.
It's
Ooh,
worth rolling.
I'd re-roll that 1, use your fate die. Oh, gosh.
God.
Another 1, it was meant to be. The fickle finger of fate, but you did manage to push the werewolf back 2 inches, so there's that. Okay, so we have 2 more wolves over here, and let's see. I guess this first wolf is going to charge in and attack veteran hunter Jonas Lang. So he has a bite of +1, and you have a defense of
14.
14. So the dark wolf got a 12, +1 is 13. Your defense is 14, so that's not enough.
Right.
You're going to fight back?
Of course. My melee is +2.
All right. 19. That's pretty good. So that's 21. So you do 9 points to the wolf, which is kind of a waste. And he only had 1 left, but he's gone.
Okay.
And you get 1 fatigue marker
Yep.
for your troubles. And you get another wolf saying hello. And that wolf got a 15, a 16. So he bites you for 10.
Let's see, 10, so he has 2 hit points left.
Yes.
I will attack back.
Right, and you're fatigued, so it's a -1.
So he's got +1 instead of +2.
Right. 13, the wolf has a defense of 12, so that's enough. And you do
3 points.
3 points off the wolf. So veteran hunter Jonas Lang has been badly mauled by a dark wolf. He only has 2 hit points left. So he's probably pretty grateful that it's now the end of the monster phase. So now we go to your team, and you can hear Lucky Bill yelling across the moors, "I have the orders! I found them!" So all you need to do is hold on until he escapes, and then that's victory. So Private Schultz is going to shoot the gray wolf that nearly disemboweled Jonas Lang.
And Schultz has a +1.
Schultz has a +1.
10, 11, not enough.
Not enough, huh? Okay, close but no cigar. Schultz didn't quite get him.
And then Schultz is going to move.
So Schultz opted to move instead of reload, so there he is. So Bierwagen wants to shoot this gray wolf, but he's not quite close enough, so he is going to inch forward. Oh, more than inch forward. He's charging right in.
He wants to be out of range of the werewolf.
So Bierwagen here has moved away from the werewolf toward the gray wolf, and he's going to shoot his pistol.
Yes.
All right, so you need an 11 or better. And 9. Not quite.
So then my hunter is going to shoot the wolf.
All right.
And he hasn't moved, and he's got +2 on accuracy.
Right.
And he's got -1 on defense, so I need a
Okay.
9 or better,
Okay.
which I got.
16. You got an 8 and an 8. That's enough to kill that wolf. So you cleared it out.
He's
All
just
right.
going to reload because he's okay there.
All right, he's going to reload his pistol. Better get it loaded with some silver shot because that werewolf is coming to town.
All right, that's the end.
That's the end of the turn. So here's the colonel. Here's the veteran hunter. Back here is Schultz, the infantry guy. There's Captain Conager. There's the werewolf. And you can't quite see, but behind this rock here is Long Gun Pete. And Lucky Bill has the recovered orders, the secret orders, and so he is heading toward the hinterlands, but he needs to get initiative and a good sprint roll to get off the board.
We need to roll to see if we get any more wolves or werewolves.
Yeah, we need to roll for a special event. I guess you could roll it right here by Lucky Bill, if you wanted to. 9. 9. Rain starts to fall. Maximum line of sight is reduced to 12 inches, and all shoot attacks suffer a -1 modifier for the remainder of this scenario. So it's raining. On top of everything else, it's raining. Let's roll for some initiative. And I got a 5. And you got a 7. So you're going first. So it's your turn, and you're thinking the veteran hunter, he's badly mangled, is going to move forward and try to shoot the werewolf.
So he's going to move just up enough to get in range of the pistol, but not in range of rushing.
So the werewolf can only move 6, and you can shoot 8 with your pistol. So you're going to try to stay just outside of rushing range and shoot that wily werewolf.
The rain is causing -1. My movement caused -1. So I have no bonuses for my shoot.
What's the defense on a werewolf?
13.
13. So you need a 13 or better to hit the werewolf with silver shot, and you got a 14.
All right, and 8 damage.
8 damage on the werewolf.
That's awesome.
So he has a starting health of 12. You shot him with silver, so he has no damage resistance. So he goes down to 4, but when he activates, he'll heal 2 back. But for now, he's at 4. Maybe you can polish him off. Maybe everyone can just unload on the werewolf.
That's the idea.
So that's Schultz.
That's Schultz.
Is Schultz shooting?
He's shooting.
Okay.
Let's see. He does have to reload. So
Yeah.
Schultz has +1 accuracy, and the werewolf has 13 defense.
And 12,
13.
13.
So I hit him.
Okay, here's the rub, though. He only got a 5 on the power die, and the werewolf has 5 points of resistance to normal weapons. So you hit him. There was a puff of dust, but no actual damage.
Okay.
Then you have the colonel.
He's going to reload and shoot.
So the colonel reloads. He's going to shoot. What's his accuracy?
+1.
+1.
Ooh,
So that's
14.
15, -1 for the rain. But he hits. He does 9 points. -5 for the werewolf's resistance. But that's still 4. So that's enough to kill the werewolf. So good job, Colonel.
So we did it.
You did it. So that is your activation. Now it is the monster phase. So we start with this wolf leaping off of the wall and trying to bite Long Gun Pete. So the wolf is biting with a +1. So Long Gun Pete has a defense of 13. The werewolf got 17. So that's enough. He does 7 points off of Long Gun Pete, who only has 10. So that's a pretty good chomp. So he's down to 3.
But I'm sure he'll fight back, right?
He's going to fight back with the bayonet on the end of his musket.
So he has +1.
So he got a 13, +1 is 14. The wolf has a defense of 12, so the wolf takes 9 points, which is enough to kill it. So he stabs it with his bayonet and dispatches the wolf. And then we have 2 wolves down here, and they're just going to move the way they've been moving. Kind of about 8 up that way. This one's going to have to slow down in the bog. So he's wading in the mud. That's the end of the monster phase. Now my team gets to go. So before we find out what happens with Lucky Bill, we're going to have Long Gun Pete go ahead and shoot that wolf. And he got 2 1s. So not only does he not hit that wolf, he breaks his weapon. His musket explodes, and it's no longer functional for this scenario. 2 1s is a critical miss, so poof, there's a big misfire, and that's the end of his musket. His rifle, actually. His expensive, custom-made Bavarian rifle explodes in his face. All right, so Lucky Bill is going to attempt to escape. Let's see how close he can get. Yeah, pretty darn close. So that's 7.5 inches. So he can do it. He can go ahead and run almost to the end. So he can do his regular movement and get almost to the edge. And then he'll do a sprint check. Not that it's necessary, but just for fun. And 5. That still gives him an extra 2, which is enough to escape out of the moors and get back to headquarters. So that's victory. All right, so that is a successful mission. So let's see. The colonel was down to 8 points. The veteran hunter was down to 2. He was almost killed. Schultz was unscathed. Captain Conager was down to 8. Lucky Bill took no damage. And Lungan Pete also was almost killed, but he's still kicking. So that is our 2 teams here, and they were successful in the first mission of the solo campaign. This was the Wolf Pack, and so we made it through. So we'll have to move on to the next mission here in a few days after we get this game edited. So do you want to keep going? You want to go to mission 2?
Yeah, what's the next mission called?
The next mission is the Ruined Chapel. Having escaped the wolves, you press deeper into the forest, relying on a compass and a crude map to bring you to the Lost Chapel. All right, folks, I guess that's a wrap on our first on-screen game of the Silver Bayonet. As I said, this is a solo campaign using the cooperative rules. So both Lynn and I had a small team, and we were successful in working together to defeat the wolf and werewolf menace. You actually killed a werewolf, which is pretty good.
Yeah, it took all 3 of my guys shooting at once, basically.
You'll get a special medal for that when you get back to headquarters, but we made it. We were successful. We retrieved the lost secret orders, and now we can continue on our mission to find the Lost Chapel. So that'll be exciting. So hopefully we can get that shot for you here in a timely manner. But until then, thanks as always for stopping by. We hope you enjoyed today's video, and we'll see you soon with some more Silver Bayonet. So until then, take care.